So suffering, we're talking about suffering. One is when unrighteous people attack righteous people. Another, though, is suffering that occurs because disease and decay in nature. Because sin in the world, all nature groans under the weight of sin. There's aging, there's poisons, there's toxins, there's injuries, there's accidents, and all these things that are happening because the whole world is out of harmony with God's design can cause suffering. And then there's suffering that occurs because of seeing sin destroying an object of our love, whether it's a pet that gets hit by a car, whether it's a child, a brother, a sister, a family member who is involved in an addiction or some process of self-destruction. And we see the sin destroying their lives, and because we love them, that causes us to suffer. And then suffering that occurs because of our own carnal, fallen natures tempting us from within, and the application of God's healing solution, the battle that goes on. You know, it says we're talking about Peter, and 1 Peter 4:1 says the following: "Therefore, since Christ suffered in his body, arm yourselves also with the same attitude, because he who has suffered in his body is done with sin." Done. Done with sin. What does that mean? So, take the example of somebody with an addiction. Addictions are destructive. They're hurtful. They're damaging. If they go into a program of recovery, will they face cravings at some point? Will they then have to make a choice? Imbibe or say no? If they choose to say no to the craving, will the flesh suffer? And as long as the flesh is suffering, are they engaging in sin, or are they done with sin? They're done with it. This is what it's talking about. Now, it may not be a physical addiction. It could be a behavioral addiction, gambling, pornography. It could be an anger problem that people rage and explode and blow up and yell at people and curse. And if you're in a position where somebody offends you and you have this rage and you want to curse them out, but you restrain yourself and you say no, your flesh is now suffering. Yeah? Have you ever been in that situation? And you got to go cool down, you got to count to 10, you got to, when your blood pressure's going like this, but some force is there to help you. Maybe the Holy Spirit's there giving you some wisdom. Say, don't do it. And after you cool down, you go, thank you, God. I'm really glad I didn't do that. I've been in that situation. I would encourage you to meditate on that text about the suffering, because this is a battle between the carnal nature and the spiritual man, the limbic circuitry of your brain where you get your moods and impulses, and the higher cortex. So just give you an insight into how your neurobiology works. If you're getting on the interstate, and as you're getting on, somebody cuts you off and almost hits you, and you get that angry urge to maybe say a bad word or send them a hand signal. Not the peace sign. Half the peace sign. And then you go, that's your limbic system. That would be neurobiologically where that aggressive, carnal, selfishness is coming from, limbic system. But then if you go, wait a second, hold on, no. You know what? I'm a Christian. I don't behave that way. And you restrain yourself. That's prefrontal cortex. That's higher cortex. That's behind your forehead. Sealing in the forehead in the New Testament. This is where our characters are transformed. There's a battle going on. So what do you think, with all these different types of suffering, caused Christ's greatest suffering?